I want to take a few minutes this morning and talk about the Summa Theologica. And I'm probably mispronouncing that, but because I can't remember if the G is hard or soft. But the Summa Theologica was written by Thomas Aquinas. You may recognize that name. He's one of the great historian or great theologians of history. He was a philosopher. He was an amazing, amazing man. He has been sainted for obvious reasons, as we'll get into it. But the Summa Theologica is basically trying to cover all the reasons for Christianity to be true and how does it reconcile with the world. So it's kind of it's a philosophy, it's theological, it's tying everything together. And it is considered one of the greatest works of literature. And what I think is most interesting is it's still used today. There are still references to it, to what Thomas Aquinas wrote, and this has been around for a very, 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 very long time. It did not get outdated. But technically, Thomas Aquinas died, and it was never finished. They used some of his other writings in order to finish it. And what's important to note is he did not it wasn't something he was working on his death. He quit working on his Summa Theologica, the greatest, he considered it his masterpiece of his life. He had committed much of his life to writing it, much of the end of his life. But he stopped writing it. And he stopped writing it because he had a religious experience. He had this divine encounter. And in his words, after that experience, he said all of it, everything else was straw, and was horrifying to his scribes to imagine that everything is straw, that all of the greatest theological work, bar Scripture, the greatest apologetic work, the greatest theological writing outside of Scripture, obviously, and he just had no desire to finish it afterwards. And we have a tendency, especially as a Protestant, which I am, is to look at our Christianity as something to be experienced if you're on one side of it, or something to know. And I think Thomas Aquinas is a great representation that faith is a combination. It's important to have your theology and what you believe, but it's also to be experienced. And I know my God, and because I know my God, I seek to have answers that correlate with what I know. But I don't need to. I'm not ignorant, but I'm not desperate. And I think that's important to understand.